author was in a quandary. That means he was in a confused state what to do, because in the next 24 hours he had to leave for this France. So there I had organized and stirred up a bee's nest of helpers and advisors. The BBC were also under the impression that the trip was a foregone conclusion. If I put it off at this juncture, I would have put a tremendous amount of people to a lot of trouble for nothing. And yet I felt I could not leave Npongo unless I was satisfied that he was either on the mend or beyond salvation. Then the day before I was due to leave, he suddenly turned the corner. He started drinking his Complan, a highly concentrated form of dried milk, and eating a variety of fruits. By evening of that day, he showed considerable signs of improvement and had eaten quite a bit of food. Now, here he was thinking that if I cancel my trip, then the entire thing that had been arranged, like many people had been called, the BBC was also there ready. So it would mean a lot of trouble to many people. So he wanted that, even didn't want to leave Npongo, who was suffering from colitis. So he wanted that at least some signs of improvement should be shown by Npongo. And but the day before he was about to leave, he saw that Npongo had started taking his Complan, eating some food, the highly concentrated form of dried milk, and a variety of fruits. So by the evening, he also showed considerable signs of improvement and had eaten quite a bit of food. Next morning, I went down very early to look at him, for I was due to catch my plane to Dinard. At 8:30, he was sitting up on the shelf, and although he still looked emaciated and unwell, his eyes had a sparkle and had been lacking for the past few days. Before the author was leaving on the very day, at 8:30 he had to leave for Dinard. He went to the cage of Npongo to notice him. He saw that he had shown signs of improvement, but although he was very weak and dull, and but there was a glow in his eyes which he had not seen for the past few days. He ate quite well and drank his Complan, and I felt that he was at last on the road to recovery. I drove down to airport and caught the plane to Dinard, and we motored down to the south of France. It cost a small fortune in long distance calls to Jersey to keep myself appraised of Npongo's progress, but every time I telephoned, the reports got better. And when Jeremy informed me that Npongo had drunk 1 pint of Complan and eaten 3 slices of watermelon, 2 bananas, 1 apricot, 3 apples, whites of egg, I knew there was no further cause for alarm. Now, although the author had left, he had taken the plane to the airport and reached to France, but he always called up in order to know the whereabouts of Npongo, and Jeremy every time told him that he was improving day by day. And then Jeremy, when once informed him that Npongo had taken 1 pint of Complan, he had eaten 3 bananas, 2 bananas, 3 slices of watermelon, and apricot, 3 apples, whites of egg. So this meant it was a sign of great relief for the author that now he is going to be very well. By the time I returned from France, Npongo had put on all weight he had lost, and when I went into the Mabel house, there he has to greet me, his old self, massive, black, and rotund, his eyes glittering mischievously. I reflected as I watched him rolling on his back and clapping his hands in an effort to attract my attention, that though it was delightful to have creatures like this and of vital importance that they should be kept, it was a two-edged sword, for the anxiety you suffered when they become ill made you wonder why you started the whole thing in the first place. Now, here the author, when he came back from France, he went to see Npongo and found that he had gained all the weight that he had lost during his illness, and now he was quite happy. He was moving all around the cage, rolling on the floor, and he was clapping his hands in order to attract the attention of the author that here I am. He had that eyes glittering with mischievous tinge in them. And although the author last of all says that although it is very delightful to have creatures of this type in your zoo, but the anxiety in which you are plunged when they become ill makes you think that why did you start all these things at the very first place? Why did I think of keeping such animals in my zoo, whose illness will create a lot of anxiety in your own? So, this way the story has ended up. Now, let's look at the theme of the story. The theme of the story is conservation of wildlife, because through this story we come to know how the author had taken an initiative to conserve the very rare species of gorilla. Similarly, we as human beings have a responsibility that we should help conserve the wildlife and prevent or protect the animals from being endangered or extinct. Then, attitude towards animals is very important as a theme, which shows that the animals have their own urges and needs. And as a human being, if you are a zookeeper or you help to tame the animals, so you should be well aware of their needs and their urges. Like here, the author had come to know the need that now when N Pongo has grown older, so he needs a wife. Then, what type of diet is necessary for him? When he was sick, how they had distracted his attention so that the antibiotic could be injected into him. That means here the author Durrell was quite understanding in this matter. He knew that when the gorillas or the apes they grow older, they need some companion to stay with forever. And this was a great initiative which was taken by him. Plus, when the animals are sick, how to tame them, how to look after them, what is their need, what type of diet is necessary for them, how to understand. All these things have been beautifully depicted in the story. So, the message that is coming through this story is love and affection for animals. We need to change our attitude towards animals. Animals are now not just only for taming or for cutting them down, killing them for our own needs or doing something else. Animals also are living creatures. They also have their needs, their urges. They also fall sick, and how to nurse them, how to take care of them is very important. And here we come to know that how the author, as a human being, he treated N Pongo not as a gorilla but as a human being, that he also has a natural urge of having a mate in his life, and how to and got him married to Nandi. So hope this is very clear to you people. And if you have understood it, you can press the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.